What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and welcome to a new Wandsday. I only have 4 wands for you guys today. Didn't have as much time this week to make a bunch of wands, so I have 4. And as usual, they're always weird. They're always a little different than the last ones. Some of these I'd say are significantly different. Nothing crazy like some of the last ones, but got some interesting stuff for you guys today. As usual, if you guys want to submit your wands to New Wandsday, send them over to newwandsday@gmail.com. And what we do is occasionally we do a wand review where I just go over a bunch of your wands. I'm super behind. So that being said, don't expect, if you send your wand now, don't expect me to talk about it right away. It's gonna be a little while. Catching up. I tell you guys this every week that I'm catching up. If you guys want to submit your wands, just make sure the most important part is that you submit a nice clear picture. You can send as many wands as you want. Make sure that the wand is, kind of in the shot like this. It could be on a table. This right here is like the perfect angle to send a picture. If you want to send, some different angles of it, like different sides and stuff, you can do that. That's not a big deal. But this shot like this is the most important. Make sure that it is in landscape mode. So that's, like this. Don't turn your phone the long way. It just makes it way harder to talk about and to show it off. So just, this right here is perfect. Just put it on a table, take it, make it look like this, and everything will be great. This is one of the previous ones, by the way. It's going to Australia. So let's start off with this guy right here. I have 2 maple wands today that I made, and they're both spirally wands, but they both have kind of backwards spirals from each other. Does that make sense? So these spirals are indented. They are carved into it this way, and then you have these nice little ribbony twists. And then obviously we have this nice little ribbony twist on this side as well. Ribbony twist. That's a weird thing to say. Ribbony twist. Obviously there was a little bit of burning done on this. Maple is it's pretty light. At least this version of it that I got is pretty light. So it's one of those things that I will occasionally burn it just to kind of give it a little bit of contrast because it's light, so it doesn't really have a lot of depth to it. So by giving it a little bit of burning right here on the handle especially, we gave it this nice little bit of contrast with the high spots getting burned more than the low spots. Same thing here. I went in super light here just to make sure I only got the edges and I didn't get any of the inside of this little ribbon part. And then we did a nice little spiral that ends on this little hook at the end. I think it came out pretty good. The blade is all burnt. That's why it has this weird almost brown, really dark brown, and then it lightens up a little bit here. If you look closely, you may not be able to tell in the camera, but it is a very, very deep brown. And then, so what I did here, when I burned it, I actually went back and just kind of cleaned off most of the ashy part of it, because one, it brought back out a little bit of that brown that's underneath it, so the light wood kind of is coming through the burnt a little bit. That's what gives it that little bit of a lighter black. And that would be gray, but you know what I mean. The kind of the reverse of this one would be this guy here, made of the same wood, but a little bit of a different style when it comes to the twist on this guy, as opposed to this one where it's concave. These are convex. So this spiral is more of it's outward as opposed to inward. And then we have this nice little weird broken part right here on the pommel, which originally it was just gonna go straight, and I was just I need to add something to this. I need that final little that 10%. And that's where this idea came from, to just kind of separate it. We got a little bit of an indent there, a little bit of a concave pattern on it, but for the most part, these were all carved out super finely, super slowly, just to make sure that I got a nice twist. There are actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's actually 5 twists that go all the way around and I think it came out pretty good. This is one of the things that I always tell you guys when you're making your wands. Just kind of pick an idea and focus on that. Try to make that as good as possible. Like, let's say this one, for example, the one of the previous ones. This guy's already sold, like I already said, so I'm sorry if you like it. But this one, the idea was like a bone, right? Bone, little joints and stuff, and that was the idea behind it. I could have added some more spirals or some engraving in there or some runes, and it may have not been bad, but it would have been harder to make it cohesive and make it work all together. So that's usually what I try to do. I usually try to pick one idea, stick to it, and just try to make it as best as I can. And that's what, you know, this one is. So like I said, these two kind of go together. As you can see, they're kind of backwards. Like this one has the lighter handle, this one has the darker handle, lighter blade. The spirals are like backwards. These are kind of a nice like set to go together. They're going to be put up on the shop separately. If you guys didn't know, if you are a patron, make sure you go to the Discord, because if you see one of these on Discord, that means you have early access to the wands. You're on the early access tier, so you guys do get first dibs at the wands. And usually for everyone else on Patreon, I will put it on after, and then the third will be when it goes up on the YouTube channel. So if you're just watching this on YouTube, and you're interested in one of these, just go to the shop really quick, because they may not be available anymore. Last time they sold out pretty quickly, so just keep that in mind. If you are a patron, you do get first dibs, if you're Meekachii, then you get first dibs. So yeah, patrons get first dibs. If you guys want to become a patron, links at the end of the video and also in the description. If you don't, it's okay. A lot of people that get the wands are not patrons, so it's just, if there is one that calls out to you, you can call it if you're a patron. So just message me on Discord. If you're a patron and you're not on Discord, well, get on that, because you should have gotten a message. Discord is the best way to contact Meekachii or I. Meekachii or I. I don't think that's right. Alrighty, so now this one's actually made out of oak. And it's a little weird. It's definitely a little weird. It's longer. It's about 15 inches, give or take. So we have a lot and very little going on here. So the idea was to keep the little parts of it kind of square. This right here is squared off, but it is also not. It obviously tapers into the tip and is a little bit more rounded. These two parts right here are much more squared off than the rest of it. And then obviously we have all these little faceted, burnt up, crazy parts right here. It's a cool one. It's a somewhat simple design. If you look closely, I try to separate the two parts right here as much as I could, and I think it came out pretty nice. I obviously burned the edges a little bit just to kind of make it look like this is kind of burning and it's working its way out. The first three ones I just realized all have like burned parts to them, which burning is always a fun way to just make like the grain pop and kind of add contrast to wands. You can definitely overdo it. I've seen some creators definitely do too much burning, and the same type of burning every time. So you got to be careful. Sometimes I do it too much and I'm like, the next batch I'm not gonna like burn at all. I try. Sometimes I can't help it because I just like how it looks, so whatever. The way I started this one was I started off as a basically this size here. I tried to make it as even as possible, just a long square piece, and then I went in and started grinding away at this or sanding away at this until I got the angles that I wanted. And then after that I went in with the Dremel and started just trimming up the edges to make them a little bit more squared off. And then after that I hit it with a little bit of black paint, and then after that I hit it a little bit with the torch to give it the burnt up into here. And I burnt this up a little bit more too, just to kind of dull it out a little bit more. And yeah, that's this guy, guys. That's this guy. All right, and now last but not least, this is made out of Bacati, whatever it's made out of. Beautiful type of wood. and I've worked with this before, and the grain is just so, it just like, obviously no burning on this at all, just natural with a little bit of a finish on it, just to kind of give it a little bit of protection. And then we got this nice little brass part here with a little bit of solder glued in there, just to, you know, give it a little bit extra. Just give it that little bit extra, you know what I'm saying? And then if you can see in here on the inside of this, you can see there's a little bit of some extra detail in there, just to, you know, make it look like it's like some layers. I layered it up a little bit, and this is simple design, but I think it came out very classy. It's nice and heavy because this wood's nice and dense, so it's, you know, nice and heavy. This is obviously made out of a brass tube with another little brass piece soldered on right there. Hey, Osman. I know. Oh, you. What? Okay. Every time I do a video, there's always like one of the animals that just has to hang out, right, Osman? Good. What? Yeah. One other thing that it has is this little end right here. It has a slight little cut in it. I didn't want to make it like perfectly pointy. Just thought it would be a little too boring. So I just cut it a little bit at an angle. I don't know. I thought it would look cool. So that's what we did. What's up, Osman? Oh no. Oh no. Your little paws are so, your claws are so sharp. Ow. These are the 4 wands for this week. I've been doing pretty well all month, or all year long, I guess. This is the 3rd week of the year. I think it is. It may be the 4th week. I don't know. It's the 21st today when I recorded this. I've been doing pretty well. I think every week this month I have made a batch of wands, which is very good for me. Most likely it may slow down a little bit more later on, but I'm gonna try to make this last as long as possible, as long as I continue to be creative and have good inspiration. Join us on Fridays for the live stream. We draw up wands. A lot of these are actually from those videos when I draw them up. If you guys have any specific ideas, bring them, let me know on there, and if it's a good idea, I'll try to draw something up. Obviously, every idea I ever come up with I usually draw or is inspired by you guys. And again, if you guys want to submit your wands to New Wandsday, send them over to newwandsday@gmail.com. Eventually, I will get to them. Right now, this month, I'm kind of just mostly focusing on trying to make as many wands as possible. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys want to join the Patreon, link is at the end of the video, and leave a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite. I think that, to me, they are all pretty much like on par, and they're all really good. I like all 4 of them. I don't think that any of them are better than the other per se. I feel like all of them were just as hard to make. The one with this guy right here, Meekachii or whatever one, was probably the hardest one. Just because it didn't take the longest. I would say that this guy right here took the longest just because it was so much like fine carving. But this guy was definitely the hardest between measuring and making it look the way I wanted it to look. I would say it was the hardest. If you guys have any ideas for names for these wands, I may start doing that. Like I named Meekachii's 2020 wand, and it's called Permafrost, and because of, you know, the iciness of it. But if you guys have any ideas for names for these, leave them in the comment, as well as which one was your favorite. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.